Today I'll be covering the brand new PS5 DualSense Edge Controller. Hi guys, my name is Jasmine. I'm the hardware specialist here at Mirror Gaming. Welcome to our first hardware review here on the Mirror Gaming YouTube channel. If you're interested in more hardware reviews which are yet to come, don't forget to like and subscribe this video. The DualSense Edge, let's get straight into it. It is expensive. It comes in at £209, $199 or 339 Australian dollars. I have done a full unboxing on TikTok, so be sure to check that out on our Mirror Gaming TikTok channel. In the box itself, you get a controller, a carrying case, 2 different capstick options, 2 different back button options, a cable housing, and a USB-C braided cable. Let's start off with the carrying case. It's hard shell, so it does protect your controller, and it has enough space to keep all of the different bits and pieces inside. It also has a Velcro section on the back, so you can charge the controller while it's still in the case, which is really handy. Now onto the actual specifications of the controller itself. You get 4 extra buttons on the controller itself, 2 on the back and 2 at the bottom of the joystick modules. And all of the buttons on the controller are remappable, not just the extra 4, so you can fully customize the layout of your controller. And you can save these adjustments to your player profile settings so you can quickly swap between them and you don't need to readjust every single time you log in. Another cool feature is that you can change the length of the triggers on the back of the controller using the switches, so they can either be short, medium or long. For those who may not know what that means, shorter input triggers just means you have to press in the trigger way less before it recognizes it as an input, whereas with longer input triggers, you have to press the trigger all the way in like with the standard controller. This is great for people who are in those tense situations and those extra seconds really do make a difference. As if this wasn't customization enough, you can also adjust the stick sensitivity, stick dead zones and trigger dead zones for finely tuned inputs. And if you're crazy and want like next level immersion, you can change your vibration intensity. You get quick swap control profiles too, so if you like different mapping on your controller for different games, you can quickly swap between them without having to like reconfigure the whole thing again. The controller can be used both wired and wirelessly. If you do choose to use a wired connection, you use a USB-A, which goes into your console, to USB-C, which goes into the controller. You also get a lockable cable housing, which prevents the cable from just flying out of the controller in the middle of a game, which was something that was in very high demand of the Xbox Elite controller, but it just didn't include it. One thing that blew me away was the inbuilt microphone on the controller. Yes, I know that sounds silly, but the quality of this microphone was actually outstanding for an inbuilt microphone.
This is the mic inbuilt into the PS5 DualSense Edge controller.
Lastly, the thing that people are most excited about is the fact that you can remove the entire faceplate from the controller to change the joystick modules yourself. So now if you're ever getting drifting issues, you don't have to buy a whole new controller, you can just replace the joysticks. Sony and other third parties have already listed joystick modules on sale for as little as £20/$, which makes repairing joystick drift so much cheaper. Now let's go into what I thought were the pros and cons of using this controller. One important thing to keep in mind is that this controller really is purpose-built. It's designed for gamers who want that next level of customization, immersion, and maybe something to really give them that edge in-game. If you're someone who takes gaming super seriously and you want that higher level of output from your controller, then the DualSense Edge obviously is a great option. But here's the thing, I don't really take gaming that seriously. Do I get mad when I lose a ranked game? Yes, of course. And have I told my party that I'm going to bed at 6 PM because I'm playing terribly and feel embarrassed? Yeah, unfortunately, I have. But I still find it more of a way to just sort of spend time with friends and have fun more than anything else. This means that I can recognize that this wildly priced controller isn't really targeted at someone like me and is more made for those people who want to take gaming seriously. One of the first cons I noticed about this controller was the weight of it. It is marginally heavier than the DualSense, and although it's only very small that you can't really tell the difference after a while of playing, it is still something that some people might find causes them strain. I will say, having the extra buttons is always a positive. Whether you think you're going to use them or not, you end up getting really used to them. And then when I did swap back to the regular DualSense, I felt weird. Even if I didn't need to like press a button that wasn't there, it just felt strange that it wasn't there, you know? So even if you think you're not going to use the extra buttons like I did, you probably will, and they definitely elevated my gameplay to the point where I genuinely felt hindered without them anymore. Having a microphone built into the controller was a massive plus for me. As I said, since I'm someone who games more casually, I like to feel relaxed when I'm gaming in front of my TV, and a headset just doesn't do that for me. I feel way too immersed and way too stressed out, and I can't handle it. But this came with the consequences of not being able to communicate with my team because I didn't have a microphone. So having a microphone straight in my controller solved all of these problems for me. Having the ability to con with my squad was great. If any of my friends actually played with me, yes, this is a call out. One issue with the controller was the battery life. It has the same battery in it that's in the regular DualSense controller, but it needs a whole lot more power. I got about 4 hours of wireless game time here, which is not enough for a controller at this price point. I think Sony kind of just overlooked the battery life here because they assumed most people would be using it wired to avoid input lag. But for a controller that's £210, Sony, you could have upgraded the battery. In terms of compatibility, PlayStation controllers are only compatible with PlayStations. So this controller is only compatible with the PlayStation 5. However, since my regular DualSense works with my PC when connecting through a wired connection, I gave it a go and it did pick up as a regular DualSense controller, so I didn't get any of the extra customization options or extra buttons. If you are thinking about picking it up for your PC, keep this in mind, it doesn't give you any added benefits over getting a regular DualSense controller. Generally, it performed how it was supposed to in-game. I was able to remap all of the buttons and take advantage of all of the extra features on offer here, but as I stated before, I'm a casual gamer, so they weren't really required for me, but having them really did take my gameplay to the next level. So if you are looking for these extra features, then this controller definitely provides them amazingly. But if you're not particularly fussed by all of the options on offer by the DualSense Edge, then just don't buy it. The price point is insanely high, so if you're not going to take advantage of these features, there's no point spending that amount when you can get the same performance out of a regular DualSense controller. There are other pro-level controllers out there on the market, for example the Xbox Elite 2, which comes in at £160, or is constantly on sale now that it's a bit older for £139. I feel like that's a pro controller which is made with the majority in mind, where casual gamers can still use it and take advantage of the features without feeling like they're overloading themselves like they could with the DualSense Edge. However, the DualSense Edge is a great controller. It does what it needs to do, and I think it does it at a decent price point considering all of the features on offer here, including full customization, an inbuilt microphone, the ability to swap out the joystick modules. These are just features that you don't find on regular controllers. So here's the verdict. It's just not for everyone. If you're a casual gamer and you don't need all of these features, don't put yourself out 200 quid. But if you're someone who takes gaming more seriously and you want all of these bits and pieces included, then definitely go for it. It does what it needs to do really, really well. Overall, I would give this controller 4 stars. It does what it needs to do amazingly, and if that's what you're looking for, then great. But for the average player, it's overkill. It's also quite heavy, and the battery life just isn't what I expected it to be, so I feel like it can't hit that 5-star mark. I do want to clarify that this controller has been sent out to us by Sony, but this is for review purposes only. They are not in any way affiliated or sponsoring this video. All of these opinions are my own and they are based on my personal experience with the controller. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you're interested in more hardware reviews, they'll be coming very soon, so make sure you subscribe.